You know, you were driving 75, now you're driving 60, now you're driving 55. You're gonna have to be on it. 55 is for real when you don't have any brakes, guys. It's for real. That's fast. But you know, if you can just keep it together, you're gonna slow down. My man's driving. So he's out the wheel. His pedal split down. There's nothing. He calls his boss. His boss is like, "Hey man, what do you want?" And our man is like, "Listen, I got a es que no tengo no sirven. I don't have any brakes in the truck, and it doesn't have any brakes to it." The boss is like, "Oh shit. Okay, well what you need to do is go over to the shoulder." All right? Swerves over and is driving towards the shoulder. Now, he was driving at 45 miles an hour. He gets off the phone and it's at 55 miles an hour. So he's actually gone up. He was at 45. Now he's at 55. He's trying to get to the goddamn shoulder. And he's in the shoulder, but guess what he sees? He sees another truck in the shoulder. So he swerves back onto the freeway. He was at 55. Now he's at 65. He's at 65 miles an hour in 80,000 pounds of lumber and no brakes. There are cars. There's a car here. There's a car. Now he's at 75 miles an hour swerving. And he's running out of room. And he keeps stepping on the damn. There's nothing. There's nothing. Now, here's the thing. This is what you guys need to understand. He is not the first person that has lost brakes coming down this mountain. It can really happen to anyone. Not only for truck failure, but because, you know, you're riding your brakes or something like that. So, because it's common, way more common back in the day than it is now, but you know, it's not unheard of at all. Do you know what they did when they built that road? When they built that road coming down the mountain, they also built runaway truck lanes, like a runaway truck ramp. And these ramps, they come in different designs. You know, some ramps you pull off, if you got a runaway truck, our man is in a runaway truck going 75 miles an hour and no brakes. Well, every here and there, they have a runaway ramp where if you're driving a runaway truck, you pull over to the runaway ramp. And a lot of times the runaway ramp, even though you're going downhill, the runaway ramp will go uphill. And you'll just, you know, because of gravity and whatnot, you'll be able to, and slow down. Because that's all he wanted to do was slow down. Right? And then you got other runaway ramps that have like sand in them. So the sand will kind of get caught up in there and slow you down. You know, like a long jump when you jump into the pit and all the sand. So even though that's downhill, the ramp is downhill, but it has sand in it. So you're going to slow down. You're going to stop. Well, when our man was doing his thing at 75 miles an hour, he actually passed by some runaway ramps. Now here's a question. Do you think they have runaway ramps in Texas? Maybe they do, but it's like flat. Why would you need, I mean, it's basically like a shoulder, right? I don't know, maybe they do. But you always need that possibility on a mountain. But this 23-year-old had never driven down a mountain. He had never driven down. He had never used a runaway ramp. So guys, he's passing a runaway ramp, and then passes another one, and then passes another one. He's passing ramps designed to save him. Is it really? What did your boy Donald say? Donald Rumsfeld say? What did he say? What did he say about, like the worst way to get caught up in a situation where you just can't save yourself, and you don't know what you don't know. Who knew what he knew about the damn runaway ramps? Anyway, he was locked in. What do they call it? Like tunnel vision? Tunnel vision. All he could see with these damn cars. That's all he could see. Now, he's weaving in and out of cars in a semi-truck. Guess what, guys? Now he's at 85 miles an hour. 85 miles an hour, driving an 80,000-pound vehicle, going down a mountain. You can't do that forever. You just can't do it forever. Well, at 85 miles an hour, his luck ran out. Up the way, traffic was backed up. Guys, you know what time this was? This was like at 5 p.m. Does anybody know what time rush hour is? Can anybody take a guess? 5 p.m. Traffic's backed up. Of course. Boom! The fire was tremendous. It's absolutely tremendous. I mean, they got drone shots of it, helicopter shots. If I can, let me show you what we're talking about, guys. Let me show you what we're talking about so we can all kind of see what we're dealing with here. This is our man, Rogelio, all right? You can see the fires. Like, there's video. I don't really want to show the video. You can look at this right here. Look at this. Look at this fire from the helicopter. From the helicopter. I mean, look how high this fire was. Right? I mean, this was not some type of play accident at all. Look at this. I mean, this was so serious. 85 miles an hour driving down the side of a goddamn mountain. Right? Look at that. Everything engulfed in flames. Multiple people injured, 4 people dead. How 4 people only died is a miracle in and of itself.
Seriously.
All right. Now, as is sometimes the case, he's fine. Relatively fine. What's the first thing they do? Anybody know the first thing these cops do? The first thing they do when you're in an accident and somebody's hurt, boy, they rush you to the hospital. You're like, no, I don't need to get treatment. It's like, you can shut up. This ain't for a treatment. This is for a drug and alcohol test. We want to know if you're intoxicated. We want to know if you're under the influence of any drugs or alcoholic substances, beverages. He was like, take me. I'm good. Guess what? He was good. He wasn't under the influence of any. He was driving down the mountain at 5 o'clock. He was good. All of the tests came back negative. Not drinking anything, not ingesting anything, no brownies, no gummies, no weed, no nothing.
No brownies, no gummies.
5 in the afternoon, he's ready to rock and roll. He's good. So, let's back up for a second. What did we talk about at the beginning of this? Y'all remember that football player that killed that person in the car accident? And the family was like, oh my God, this is so unjust. And he was like, oh my God, this is unjust. Let me write you a check. And they're like, oh, okay, Judge, no further prosecution. No further prosecution, Judge. The family we've forgiven this young football player. It was an accident. It was an accident. No prison for him. What about Kim Kardashian's stepmother, whatever you want to call her? Bruce Jenner killed a person, killed a lady. He's cool. No jail for him. It's just you just kill somebody in the car. It happens all the time. So with Rogelio, no alcoholic beverages, no drugs,
no criminal record,
no sleep medication. He's all good too, right? He's all good too. Prosecutors were like, fuck that. Oh. The football player, okay, he was black, but he had money. Bruce Jenner, an Olympian, he's white, he's good. A Cuban? This is all over the news, nationwide. You think you're gonna get straight probation? So they arrest him. Now here's where the bullshit comes in. They give him 40 charges, like over 40 charges in the beginning. All this vehicular homicide, all of this first degree assault, all of this. It's like, what happened to be able to kill people in your car and not go to jail? They do this in Georgia all the time. In other states all the time. Now, if you're texting on your phone and you kill somebody, hey, that's 5 years. If you're driving drunk and you kill somebody, oh, that's 7 years easy. Because you didn't intend to kill the person, but you intended to drink. It was intentional. Not the death, but the drinking, which led to the death. That was intentional. But what if you're just like my friend's homie whose wife just ran over that biker and she didn't ran over the bicyclist? She didn't go to jail one day. Why would you go to jail? It was an accident. Prosecutors didn't see it that way. Now you thought that was some bullshit. Okay, who thinks he deserves life in prison? I think he deserves life in prison. Absolutely, because of this. And I'm gonna tell you why. None of y'all know this, but he deserves life in prison day for day.
What? This
is why he deserves life in prison. And I get it, he's 23, and this depends. Here's why he deserves life in prison. He had an attorney. It's always these fucking attorneys, right? Oh, thank you. Hey, can you guys get my likes up? Thank you so much, Gail, for letting me know. Gail is the best moderator in the world. I got 2,000 people in this mug. Can y'all get me to 1,000? Can y'all at least get me to 800? We got 20. Can I get 20 more likes?
I liked as soon as I walked in.
Here's
And
why
I
I think he
donated
deserves prison day
$5.
for day.
And
This better not be true. If this is true, and this is what the prosecutors have said, and he has not contradicted it. And if this is true, he deserves every goddamn day. And this is coming from an attorney who's telling you that your life isn't worth anything when it's taken in a vehicle. It can't be, guys, that you take one life and you get nothing. You don't get one day in jail. It can't be that if you take one life, you get 0 days. But if you take 4, then you get 110. It doesn't make sense. Because if you could get 110 for 4, why is it that you get 0 for 1? Right? In spite of that, here's why he deserves 110 years. All right, check this out. Oh, guys, thank you for getting my likes up. I'm at 1,000. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, girl. You guys are, man, y'all be showing your boy love. How did I get it that quick? Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. Thank you. All right, why does he deserve 110 years? Listen to this. He hires an attorney. The attorney goes and talks to the prosecutor, says, 40 charges for real? The prosecutor's like, listen. Okay, listen. There was a lot of media coverage. Some people that died in the accident. They were white.
stop
right?
it.
We are elected officials. All right? We needed to show that, we're strong on this. All right? But listen. Here's what we'll do. We charge them with a lot of stuff, but we're going to let them plead down. Right? Plead down. Just, now he's going to have to accept responsibility. He's going to have to accept that he. Let's just say it was 10 years in prison. 10 years in prison. So the attorney's like, all right, I'll go talk to Rogel. The attorney goes back to Rogel, says, listen, the minimum in this case for you, the minimum is 110 years. But I am a very good attorney, very good. So I got you. I reduced your minimum by 100 years. I just saved you 100 years, Rogel. So I just signed here. Rogel was like, oh, I appreciate the 100, but what about the 10? And the attorney's like, yeah, just sign here 10 years and you're going to be all good. The attorney, Rogel was like, no. People kill people all the time. They've put me on game. All of these white people are killing people in cars and they don't go to jail. All of these football players are killing people. But because I'm not white, but because I'm not rich, I have to go to jail for 10 years? The attorney was like, hold up, nigga. I just saved you 100 years. Ungrateful ass. You know what Rogel said? This is how you know Rogel cold with it. Rogel said, yeah, I'll plead to it. You know what I'm going to plead to? Rogel said, I will plead to a traffic ticket. A traffic ticket. Our man killed 4 people and wanted to plead to a traffic ticket. That's what the prosecutor said. Prosecutors, they kept saying, listen, plead this case out. Rogel was like, no. Give me the traffic ticket. I was driving too fast for conditions. I failed to maintain my lane. I failed to yield. Traffic tickets. That's it. I'm not going to jail. So he went to trial. Right? Guys, fun fact, this is exactly why I stopped practicing criminal law. This is exactly why criminal law is lucrative. And back in the day, I used to take cases, and this shit got on my nerves so bad. It got on my nerves so bad. I would bring you guys a good sentence, and because you didn't go to jail, well, because you didn't want to go to jail, you would reject it. You would reject the sentence. Oh, let's go to trial. You know what you guys would say? I'm going to make the state spend some money on my trial. You guys would say that all the time. I'm going to make the state spend its resources to take me to trial. How does that help you? Right? Oh, Lee, come on now. You got to give me house arrest, Lee. Tyrone, you shot somebody. Lee, it was just a flesh wound, Lee. It was just a flesh wound. He was in and out of the hospital. You shot him. He ain't died, Lee. I saw him 2 days ago. Just give me house arrest. All right, Lee. All right. You can't give me house arrest. Fine. Give me probation. I'm not dealing with you fuckers anymore. I'll do divorces all day long. I'm not dealing with y'all's bullshit. You want to go and rob people. You want to pull the strap out on people. You want to shoot at people. But then you don't want to go to jail. We're lawyers. We're not magicians. You killed 4 people. What do you mean a fucking traffic ticket? Now, let's be fair to him. What happened, guys? He was paying this attorney money to fight for him. And the attorney was fighting for him, but guess what? This happens with y'all all the time. What do you guys do? You know what you did? You run out of money. You ran out of money. What happens in this country if you are paying your attorney, your criminal defense attorney, and you run out of money? Does anybody know what happens?
You go to jail.
They assign you a public defender. Y'all know what a public defender is. They get a bad rap because they work so much with the state negotiating. A lot of times people think their public defenders are working for the prosecutors. A lot of you guys do not trust public defenders for shit. Y'all don't trust them. And sometimes y'all got a good reason. All right. But this is what happens when you run out of money. You get this person who's like, now here's where the attorney comes in. I might blame the attorney too. There have been times, every attorney, you know, there was a new attorney that came in yesterday, or when I did my last live stream Friday, and he was like, "Hey, Lead, do you got any advice for a young attorney?" And I said I did. I said my best advice is, listen, get paid before you do the work. All attorneys need to hear that. Get paid before you do clients' work. Don't just do their work and then expect to get paid. Y'all fuckers will not pay. I have learned, you cannot find one attorney in this nation, not one attorney who's practiced longer than 10 years that is not owed at least $100,000. You can't find one. Not one. We are all owed so much money, guys. If we could collect even just half of what we're owed. We're owed so much money. Y'all fuckers don't pay. don't know how many liens of houses. I got houses that are just waiting to sell. I just hope they'll sell one day. Because I got my lien. We're owed so much money. Another rule that I should, important rule, is that it's their case. Don't let them boss you around. Like, you need to be strong and let these people know what's in their best interest. You can't force anybody to take a plea deal. Fine. But you should almost want to strangle Rogel. When Rogel says, no, I'm only going to cop to a traffic ticket, your fingers should be itching because you want to grab this by the neck. Say, boy, you better put the pen, you put a pen in his hand and write Rogel. Help him sign his name to it. Like, you gotta force you guys to make the correct decision sometimes. You guys will get back there in the back in the jail, and you know what y'all will always do? All y'all do all day in the jail is talk. That's all y'all do is talk about your damn case. None of y'all are attorneys, and all of y'all are talking back there. Oh man, Rogel, what are you in for? Oh man, I killed 4 people driving. Oh, okay. Why are you here? You should get a traffic ticket. Traffic ticket? Yeah, that should just be a traffic ticket, Rogel. You killed 4 people, but you were driving. Were you under the influence of drugs? No. Were you under the influence of alcohol? No. Did you do it intentionally? No. You shouldn't even be here with us. You're stupid. Your attorney's stupid. Everybody's stupid, Rogel. You shouldn't even be here. Hey guys, look, Rogel's here. He killed 4 people, but he's here. Rogel's like, shit, I shouldn't even be here. I shouldn't even be here. So, when the attorney comes to Rogel and says, hey, Rogel, sign for 10 years. Rogel's like, 10 years? They said I shouldn't even be here. I hate you guys. I don't practice criminal. If there are any criminal law attorneys in the chat, you guys know what I'm talking about. All they do back there is, all y'all do is talk to one another. Shut up. I don't want my client talking to anybody. Put him in isolation. Put him in the shoe. I want my client in administrative segregation, all right? Don't let him talk to any of them people back there. Because where do those people get it? Rogel said that he's not signing anything but a traffic ticket. Where did those people get him? Where are those people right now? You know, Rogel, I don't know if you guys saw this, I'm sure we could find a picture. Rogel is in the damn, he's crying. He's crying out loud in his damn trial. He's crying. Where are all of these people that said he should just sign to a damn traffic ticket? He's in tears going to prison for 110 years. Where are these people now? Right? This is the bullshit. This is the stuff that, guys, listen, there's a reason why I'm on here. This is the stuff that you guys don't see. This is the stuff that only attorneys can tell you, this bullshit, these dynamics. This is why there's 2,700 people in here. This is why, if his lawyer told him to sign for 10 and he said no, fuck you. You're gonna cry over 110 years? Fucking cry. If that's the case. And don't let it to where the prosecutor offered him 5 years. But because of all of these people at the jail, he said that now, let's be fair. Why should he agree to 10 years if other people are killing people and they don't have to go to jail? They don't have to go to prison. Right? I get it. But you can't look, when the shit's hitting the fan, you can't look at ID. Fuck the fact that I'm Cuban. Fuck the fact that I don't really speak English like that. Fuck the fact that there's racism. Fuck the fact that I'm being overcharged by this goddamn prosecutor. 10 years or 110 years. What are you gonna do? He was like, I'll take it. Oh, fuck you. Oh, that's all I needed to hear. That's all I needed to hear. I have dealt with too many of you people. I stopped Madison criminal law for just this reason. You fuckers don't listen. They listen so much more in divorce law than criminal law. So much more. Just ordering them the 110 years when the judge is reaching the sentence, reading the sentence. You know what they'll do? You know what these fuckers will do? Okay, here's the rule. Back up for a second. Here's the rule. No one can talk when the judge is talking. That's the rule in all courts. No one can talk when the judge is talking. No one can interrupt a judge. You can't overtalk a judge. That's the rule in all courts. You can do it. When the judge is reading the sentence, you know what you'll do? You'll lean. The microphone's up here. Attorney, shut up. The judge is talking. Attorney, what? What? I want to take the 10 years. Oh my God. Oh, now you want to take the 10 years. Now you want the pen. Now you want to take the 10 years. Right? After I went through this whole goddamn trial. That's not the way it works. Okay. So, convicted of 110 years. Sentenced to 110 years. Convicted of 27 counts, vehicular homicide, this and that. How did it get to 110? Anybody know? Well, a lot of these crimes had mandatory sentences. This is a mandatory 5 years. This is a mandatory 10 years. This is a mandatory 15 years. And there was like 27 convictions or 27 counts that he was convicted of. You don't have to stack too many of those up before you're in the hundreds. Omi and the Hellcat. Y'all remember Omi and the Hellcat? He was looking at. Now, a lot of the times they can run them together, consecutive, they can run them together, but then in this situation, so many of the counts had to be run back to back. They had to be run, first you do these 10, then you do the next 10, then you do 15, then you do 5 on this, then you got 3 on that, and because they're consecutive, because they're back to back, they can just get up. You know, you can have 10 counts and convicted, but they all run at the same time. If they all run at the same time, it's like you got one, because they're all running at the same time. But what if they're running back to back to back? Now they're stacking up like hotcakes. Now you're Omi and the Hellcat looking at 300 years, right? That's what they did to Roger. What did the judge say? The judge was like, listen, let me tell you how, the judge was like, listen, I have given you the minimum. I know you think, Rohel, I know you're crying. This is what the judge said. The judge said, listen, I know you're in tears. All right. You made some mistakes. But I don't think you meant to do this, Rohel. I don't think you meant to do it. So I'm going to give you the minimum, the absolute minimum. Rohel's like, okay, what's the minimum? 110 years. He gave him the minimum, like the absolute minimum. And the judge also said, if my hands are tied, you never want, boy, if a judge tells you your hands are tied, his hands are tied, you're fucked. As an attorney, I would hate, Lead, I think you're so right, but my hands are tied. Oh, we just lost. I don't even need to hear what else you got to say. My client will be sitting here and be like, oh, and I'm already like, this is over. He said his hands are tied. I'm done. Like this is gone to shit. Right? He said, if I could, I would give you less time. You should get less time. But the law requires me because of these mandatory minimums. What's a mandatory minimum? It's the minimum amount of time that's mandatory. The judge can go higher but can't go lower. There's a floor. The judge can go higher but can't go lower. And because of all the lowers on these 27 counts, all the lowers added up to 110 years.
I'm listening to
The
this
judge
guy
was
on
like,
YouTube.
I wish I could go lower,
He's called the lead attorney.
but my hands are tied. I can't.
And he's talking about
So,
a guy that they gave him 110
I would
years in
give you
jail.
less time if I could.
Oh yeah, for that car crash?
Yes.
Pulls out the
Yeah.
gavel.
You're aware of this. Okay.
110 years.
110 years.
Life. It's
Who-
worse than life.
How
I mean,
did a
it's
little
just like
girl
when you're
find out
done.
about something like that?
He's gonna get out what? When he's 140 something?
Oh, how did me?
I
Yeah.
don't think he's gonna. No
Okay,
one
I
lives
live
in
there.
prison.
Oh,
Prison
well,
is tough.
mommy was
Guys.
watching something about it.
It's
Oh,
very
okay.
difficult to live to 80 in prison. Let's be honest. You're supposed to live to 140. The food that they serve you, the shanks, the medical staff. You can't live to 140. What's the oldest anybody's ever lived in the planet? Moses was 900 years. All right. Fuck you guys. All right, so this is where we're at now. There's outrage. Right? There's outrage at this case for good reason. There is a petition that's floating around. Anybody seen that petition? Anybody signed that petition?
Not me.
Oh, it's just a petition. Let me tell you about this. Just a petition. 4 million signers. 4.5 million.
Whoa.
There are protests. There are hashtags. Truckers are saying that they will never do another load in Colorado. This is humongous. It's humongous. So, you know what, guys? For all the people, listen, for all the people in the chat who say that this was a fair sentence and he should go to prison forever for 110 years, listen to this. Every single family member that made a statement to the court about his sentence, every single one said he should not do 110 years. These are mothers, fathers, sons, brothers, sisters, daughters. Their fucking family members died. None of them think he should go to prison for 110 years. So when you, who's not even in Colorado, want to take the key and throw it away, think about it. When not even the dead family members want this boy to spend 110 years in prison.
No, and I found out that you have snack at
Right?
3:15
It's very
every day.
easy just to say throw the fucking key away.
That's what Mom told me. She said that you're eating snacks in the school.
It looks
Everybody
like
in
people
your
are
grade
working
gets
on
a
a
snack
clemency
at 3:15.
petition.
I don't eat my snack at
Right? They're gonna.
Well,
the
what
governor
time-
said he
I
hasn't
eat my
received
snack at
anything
lunch.
yet.
No.
But
I'm
once
talking about the snack.
governor
Doesn't the
says,
school give
once
you a
he
snack?
receives the
I don't
clemency
eat the
application,
school
he's
lunch.
gonna review it.
Oh, no.
But
Our
yes.
office
Stop it,
reviews
Maddie.
all applications.
What's
All
the?
right,
Don't
so,
swear. Don't use that
Okay.
word.
Review it.
Don't be dishonest with me. I don't want you to be dishonest with me.
Millions
You tell
of
me the
people-
truth. Even if I got a
millions of
tone,
people are
don't try to
standing
fix
behind
it with
this man
lies.
and
Always
think
tell
that
the
he
truth.
got such a raw
I eat
deal.
my snack. I eat some of my
And
snack
truck
at
it
lunch.
can't
Madison,
be
what kind
as
of
a
snack is
trucker.
it?
How can you be a
Snack
trucker?
from the
How
school?
can
Yes.
let's imagine that you're a
What kind of
20-year
apples?
veteran,
Like
some just
regular
white
red
trucker,
apples.
20-year veteran of the game. How can it be that you
Sometimes
can
apples
accidentally
and
kill somebody? You can make a
Apples and
mistake,
bananas?
accidentally kill somebody, and you're looking at 60 years to serve day for day. Who would do that job?
Let me listen to this, baby.
How can you do that job if this is the law? That's what I want to know. Any truckers in here, how can you do this job knowing that Rogel is out there spending 110 years in prison? How is it worth it? I'm getting paid 50 cents a mile. Okay. You can go to jail for 60 years over a fucking accident.
Yeah, that's crazy.
My man said he's doing 700-mile daily runs. One accident and you're in jail for 60 years, 70 years, 110 years. Was your 50 cents a mile worth it? Was it worth it? I get 60 cents a mile. I don't care how many cents a mile you get. If this is the law,
Look at that.
Look at this.
an accident and you're fucking done? And what are the chances that you're going to be involved in an accident if you're driving 700 miles every goddamn day? Your risks are increased. Right?
What happened there?
Talking about
That
truckers.
looks crazy.
Oh,
Shout out to Marie for bombing. The lead attorney, thank you so much. No comment, no question, just pure love. Thank you so much. Guys, she was actually instrumental in me talking about this. Thank you so much, Simba. I agree. Oh no, I appreciate that. Shout out to Marie. Shout out to all the show. Shout out to Harmony Pill. This just goes to show how important truckers are, and maybe how I mean, this is not just a blow to Rojo. This is to me it seems like an attack on truckers. But I want to know how truckers feel about it. Shout out to Swing Out Museum. Thank you so much. These things, right? Shout out to Bad News. I think you're the new sponsor at 200. I was cooking, guys. I didn't even put up the damn sponsor thing. I just said the sponsor is the biggest super chat, but I absolutely think you got it. Thank you so much, Bad News. He says, I'm getting on a flight right now, but oh man, I'm sorry. I long stroked y'all too much. I absolutely want to get Bad News up here. Let me drop the link. Only an hour and a half. I didn't long stroke y'all too much. That was a little bit much, but I wanted to tell you guys how I feel about it. I'm dropping the link right now. I'm dropping the link. I want everybody to come up, but I particularly want truckers, especially if Bad News is in this thing. If you're a trucker, when you sign in, put the word trucker. Put in your name that you're a trucker. I'm gonna call you up first. I want to hear how truckers feel about this. Shout out to Lord Commander. Thank you so much. I've dropped the link. Are there any truckers in the house? I'll drop the link again. I'm doing first priority to anybody that I can easily identify as a trucker. Thank you so much, Bad News. 12431. What does Michael Williams say? Rogel may be guilty in this case, but are you saying people should always take the plea deal, guilty or not? Sounds like if the sentence is high enough and the deal is low enough, take it no matter what deal. Listen, now you're asking the real question, Michael. And I know what people will say. I know what civilians will say. I also know what attorneys will say. And attorneys are going to be like, you need to see what the risk is versus what is it, 2 in the bush versus 1 in the hand. If they say lead, listen. You're on trial for murder, lead. Some of these YouTubers shouldn't be talking shit. You can get 100 years. You can go to trial and get 100 years. Or you can admit to these murders, which you did not do, and get 30 days. But you will be a convicted felon, and you will be convicted as a murderer, but you will get 30 days. You will have a murder. You will have murders on your record. 30 days in prison, or risk it so that you don't have the murders on your record. But if you lose, 100 years. I'm signing up. I'm signing up. I didn't kill those people. I didn't kill them. But now I've admitted to being a murderer. Oh, you should never admit to something that you fuck you. You spent 100 years in jail. You spent 100 years in jail and talk that shit.
You see this truck right here? He don't belong on this road. He can get pulled up, but I guess no cops no more in New York. But normally he would have made it too far.
If they say, oh, well, you can spend 100 years in jail, or if you admit to the murders and you only spend 60 years. I ain't admit. Let's go to trial. Because 60 years to me, I'm 44 now, so whatever. Right? So it's always a case by case. You should kind of lean towards not admitting to stuff, but you should always be open to the idea. Always be open to offers. Always be open to negotiations. That's what you should always be. You shouldn't always take every plea deal, of course not. But you should always be open to negotiate. Hey, man, what about this? What if you give me that? What can we do here? What about a fine, a huge fine? What about some probation? What about some house arrest? What about some drug classes? What about some anger management classes? What about some community service? Let's throw some things in the deal. Let's sweeten the pot. Right? You should always be open to negotiations. So that's what you should always be open to. But you're right. If the sentence is high and the deal is low, you have to consider it. Now, should you take the deal no matter what? No. Because what if they say, okay, you can go to prison for 60 years, or you can risk it and sign up for 5 years, but you will have to register as a sex offender. Registering as a sex offender it's a hassle, especially if you didn't do it. So you just got to weigh it out. You really do got to weigh it out. That's a great question. And so many people, especially black people, especially black men, are put in this situation. Right? But also white men. Everybody, but of course more men in general. Right? But yeah, you should always consider this situation. All right, let me see is there anybody here? All right, King Trucker. I can be a trucker. We got Tabasco Trucker. Thank you guys for identifying as truckers. If you are not identified as a trucker, I'm not going to bring you up right now because I want to talk to truckers. Division Drive, he's probably a trucker. All right, thank you guys. I love the fact that you guys know how to do it. So we got 3 people who've identified themselves as truckers. This is excellent. All right, let's talk to King. King Trucker.
You want to talk now?
King Trucker.
Let's talk.
Yeah.
I don't want you to go to sleep.
All right. Thank you so much for
I don't want you to go to sleep.
up. Now, are you a trucker yourself?
Yes, sir.
All right. How long have you
Hi, Maddie.
How long are you trucking?
I've been trucking since 2016.
2016.
Maddie went to school today by herself because one of the teachers in the other grades has tested positive, so they shut the school down. Well, they shut that half of the school down.
It looks like the brakes failed because
Middle school.
he didn't really know how to use the brakes. Can you
Your brother's in
explain
middle school.
how brakes
Okay,
are
one second,
and
one second,
how that
Maddie.
relates to getting in gear? Because he was saying that he couldn't use the brakes because he couldn't get the truck in gear. Can you explain all that to us regular folks?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really following the story like all the way in detail. I'm assuming him saying that he had trouble getting in gear, he has a manual. So with that being the case, if he wasn't able to get it in gear, with a truck engine, that we have an engine brake, so it allows us to slow the truck down without having to use the drum brakes because even on a car, when you're using your brakes and it creates friction and it heats up. And once the brakes heats up to a certain point, he started having brake fade, and it wasn't in gear, and he's not able to use his engine brake, and he's using his regular brakes. They get too hot, and it gets to a point to where it's not able to grip a hold of the drum to slow the truck down. So at that point, you have like a runaway vehicle. And
yes.
So, I mean, from at the top of the mountains, I've gone down Grand Junction before. They have.
So you went down the same route that he was going down?
I've done it multiple times.
Wow. How was going down that mountain? How was that different in a truck versus a passenger vehicle?
I wish my parents
it's way different. I mean, you have a lot of times it's 40,000 pounds behind you, so that will push you down the mountain if you're not able to control your speed. And it's just a matter of gravity.
Well, I think we're losing you. King Trucker, can you hear me? All right, I'm gonna drop you back down, King Trucker. I'm not gonna take you out, but I think we're losing you. I'll try to pull you back up. I think we're losing you. All right, let's bring up somebody put that in the lead trucker. Shout out to the lead trucker. All right, so who do we got here? We got Tabasco Trucker, right? Am I reading that right?
Well, I put trucker in there to highlight I was a trucker.
Thank you. All right, now how long have you been a trucker?
Well, I've been around trucking my whole life. My grandpa drove, my dad drove, but professionally myself, been 4 years going on 5.
Wow, okay. What do you think about this case? Do you think that 110 years was just for killing these 4 people? Do you think it's unjust? Like, what's your take on it?
Me personally, I think it's unjust because when you look, just like what King was saying, when you look at trucking, it's a totally different world. When you ask them what it's like going down a hill, in a car, you can hit your brakes and your car pretty much will hold that speed of where you at. Where when you get in these trucks, I ran into situations where a lady thinks because we got brakes on all our wheels, we're able to just slow down like a car. And it's like, have you seen 80,000 pounds slow down? I mean, you're in a 2,000 pound vehicle and you don't stop instantly. Now put 80,000 pounds on us. So, going down a hill, it is a different thing. I'm also a trainer for my company. And the one biggest thing I stress on when I talk to my students when we're going down the hill is go as slow as you need to go. If you need to go 5 miles an hour down a hill, go 5 miles an hour down a hill. I don't care how. My biggest goal is to get back home to my family. That's my biggest goal. So, if he's never been in the mountain, he should have spoke up. And his company should have, I don't know how he was calling somebody while he was going down, but I mean, his company should have assessed that, like, hey, have you been through a mountain before you go over there to them, especially in Colorado, because I've been on that hill also myself.
So you've been on it too?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because apparently his company, it was a very small company. They only had like 4 to 5 drivers. So it was very small. Of course, it's out of business right now, right? And they just sent that boy up there to do that thing. And he had never driven on a mountain.
Yes. Man, man. I mean, it even gets scary as a trainer, going down these mountains with, my students because, they don't know. They've been through CDL training, but CDL doesn't treat you or train you on how to deal with a mountain. And so, you got your students getting your truck and they're like, I've never been on a mountain. All right, this one, I'm going to tell you what to do. We're going to choose a safe speed. What's your safe speed? And when they tell me something ridiculous, like, I'm going to go down there at 55. No, you're not. We're going to do 25.
25. Wow.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That's slow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if you've never been down a mountain before and you're 23 years old, you could easily think that maybe a safe speed is 40 miles an hour, right?
Yeah. Because you try to compare it to a car.
Yes. And can you talk to us in a way that's not going to bore us too much, but just like mechanically, like King was saying, kind of how the brakes work and how they can fail?
So the way they work, so it works just like regular brakes. You got your regular foot pedal. And what happens is our trucks use, they're starting to get 2 disc brakes, but our trucks use drum brakes. So as you keep slowing down or you keep using your brakes, especially going down a hill, they start to heat up. And once they get so hot, they become like a metallic. So basically, You just get real mushy brakes. They just become metal now, and nothing is stopping it anymore. Wow. So that's really what happens is they just get so hot that they just get real smooth. There's no grit to them anymore. And, now they don't grip the drum. The drum is hot. So everything's just, it's like there's no braking action anymore. And that's why they also give us the engine brake, which is an aid to our brakes. They're not your main source of braking, but they're an aid to braking to help, maintain speed or slow down.
Mm-hmm. Who would you blame more in this situation? Would you blame the 23-year-old, or would you blame more? Because certainly both have some blame, right? But for him being out there, would you blame him more, or would you blame his company more for sending him out there, probably knowing that he has no experience out there?
That's a hard one, because like with my company, the one main thing they stress on is you're the captain of the ship. Mm-hmm. So if you don't feel safe with something, you stop that truck. Me, I don't drive in snow. So if I see the snow, on the other hand, the company should, and I think I know what he did, because a lot of people that with these mega carriers get their time in and they go to a smaller company because they more, and they want the more family
I think that's
environment.
exactly what he did. I think that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, and they want their more family or want to be able to do what they want. There's not so many rules, I guess you could say, with the company. So it's hard to really place who to blame more, because he could have just said no, but then again, we don't know if his company pressured him to keep moving, because there is some companies out there, they'll say, no, keep moving, I don't care how dangerous it is, keep that truck moving. And I don't know, especially with a small company like that, probably kept it moving, try to keep it moving.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about, let's assume that he had killed, instead of 4 people, let's assume that he had killed 1 person. What do you think his sentence should have been, if anything, for killing 1 person in what's clearly an accident? But an accident that, he certainly had a large hand in causing.
It's so hard to look at. Because once you take a life away, that's where everything changes. Mm-hmm. But I like how you, when you introduced him, how he had a clean record, nothing was wrong with him. Right. So I think a lot of that would play into it. So it would be one of those we really would have to assess, like, what happened and why did you end it? Because there was no intentionality behind it. But then again, your family's going to say, we want justice. He needs to go to jail. So, see, that's where my captain of the ship part comes in, is like, I personally wouldn't have taken, just stopped. Y'all need to figure this out because my brakes ain't working. Because you did say, he called and said, hey, my brakes ain't working right. Yeah. Why would I have that? And I'm about to go down a mountain? Mm-hmm. No, I'm not moving that truck until I figure out what's going on. So if that was the case, I'd probably give him a couple years.
But again, are you able to put yourself, because you seem like a gentleman in a 23-year-old shoes who's maybe talking to a 50-year-old owner, and
I've got my younger students, and they're very eager. Man, they get so ready to just go. Yeah. And I have to reel them back in, like, no, this is real life. As a 23-year-old, they're gonna feel like they're invincible. Mm-hmm. They think they'll see all these videos of these super truckers out here going down mountains fast, and they're like, yeah, I probably could do that. And it's like, you don't even know what is going on with that man. So as a 23-year-old, I think that will play a factor into it also. Especially trying to take his life away. He ain't do nothing wrong. I'd probably do 1 or 2 years just to go, hey, you did kill somebody. Right. But to put him in for that long, no, I can't see that.
Got you. So that's for one life. What about, how much would you give him for 4 lives?
I would say 2 per year, so 8 years.
8 years. All right, 8 years. I don't think a lot of people will really disagree with that so much. It's certainly way more reasonable than the 110, right? Oh, and to be fair, the 8 years could be exactly what the damn prosecutor's office offered. But he wanted to plead to the damn traffic tickets, right? Because at least here in Georgia, I can leave the street, go to a gas station, run somebody over, and not even get arrested, right? Because Now they'll take me to the hospital just to make sure that I wasn't drinking and driving. I don't have any drugs. That'll be the first thing, right?
Oh yeah.
But after that, you know, it's probation time for me. And so, you know, apparently in Colorado they're a little bit more strict. Maybe they have to be because of those mountains. It's certainly more dangerous, I would suppose, to drive in those mountains. So you need to let people know it's a serious matter. But in a lot of states, man, I mean, you just take somebody's life in a car. It happens all the time on the expressways. People die all the time, and you know, it's not like everybody goes to jail over these accidents. They're just accidents. Now, you can get sued, right? The insurance company's going to pay. But you go into prison, you know, when you're not texting, you're just driving and making a mistake. It seems, you know, so I can understand why he'd be like, no, I'm not. I'm just doing straight probation. But when the sentence is so high on the other side, when the possibility is 110, you might have to take the 8 years that you're recommending, right? I mean,
the only thing I would kind of question is, you said he was originally from Cuba. Yeah. I wonder if the language barrier kind of kicked in that, where, you know, like how you said when he was in jail and they were all talking to him, he probably didn't understand what was going on. So he's like, no, I want a traffic ticket. I wonder if that played a role in it.
Well, usually for criminal cases, though, they either assign you an attorney who speaks your language, or they have an interpreter there when an attorney is speaking, when the attorney and the client don't speak the same language. So you always have an interpreter there. It's never like you're alone. But yeah, so it's an interesting situation. I got a lot of truckers in here, so I want to rotate the panel. But thank you so much, Tabasco Trucker, for coming up. You really given us a lot of
Thank you for tuning in to this small channel on YouTube, where you can ride down the Grand Concourse and drive over the Madison Avenue Bridge, go through Harlem, up the the Harlem River Drive, cross over the George Washington Bridge, jump onto Route 4, and listen to the lead attorney talk about the latest thing that's happening right here, right now. You're appreciated for that. I hope I'm appreciated. And if you found any value out of this, it's Elvis Rosenberg. $, Elvis Rosenberg on the Cash App. Express yourself. You are, like I said earlier, appreciated. And I love you.